Welcome to First and 10, presented by Allstate with Sporting News college football writer Matt Hayes. I'm Stephen Levine in the Sporting News studio. Now, Matt, by my count, there are 12 undefeated teams in Division I college football. How many will there be by the end of the regular season?
Stephen, let me take you back to a place in time not so long ago, 2007, when a team coached by, you ready for this? Dave Wannstedt decided who would play in the BCS National Championship game. That season, the last week of the season, Missouri was ranked number 1, West Virginia was ranked number 2, both lost to throw the entire system into chaos. Everybody had a loss. Some teams had 2 losses, LSU. LSU found a way to the National Championship game with 2 losses. Wannstedt's Pitt team went into Morgantown and beat West Virginia. Missouri lost in the Big 12 championship game to Oklahoma. It was mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together, Stephen. And you know what? I got a strange feeling that this season's going to play out the same way. There are 12 unbeatens, okay? Let's look at it this way. The reality is only 7 matter. 6 of the 7, there's no doubt they're losing. The only one that there may be a doubt is Alabama. But Alabama's got to go to Baton Rouge on November 3rd. That's going to be a tough game. You look at number 2 Florida right now. They could lose any of 4 games. They could lose this weekend against South Carolina. They could lose to Georgia and Jacksonville. They could lose at Florida State. They could lose in the SEC championship game. Oregon's got to beat USC twice probably. Oregon's got to win at Oregon State. Oregon State's going to lose this weekend to Washington, Stephen. We can go down the line and down the line. Kansas State's got to win at West Virginia this week. It's going to be crazy.
Well, I'm hanging my hopes on Mississippi State.
You know, well, they'll beat Middle Tennessee State this weekend, probably. The following weekend in Tuscaloosa, when it's 41-0, we'll all realize what's going on.
Okay, all right. I'll hold you to that. Now, turning our attention to Texas, it wasn't that long ago that Texas was playing for the national championship. Now they're 1-2 in the conference, 4-2 overall, but Mack Brown says he ain't going nowhere.
You know, it's interesting, Stephen. Texas gets another 60-point game hung on them by Oklahoma. And Mack Brown begins his press conference this week by stating, "I'm not going to retire." And that's a dangerous, dangerous statement right there. I mean, that
he thinks he doth protest too much.
that's the start of something, and it's unfortunate because Mack is just one of the true great gentlemen of the sport, one of the true great ambassadors of the sport. But the reality is, Texas is 17-14 since they lost to Alabama in that championship game. Texas is 0-9 against ranked teams in the last 9 games. I think when you look at those numbers and you start to look at the trends of 2 years ago, they were horrible. Last year, they got a little better. This year, they cannot tackle. They've given up over 1,600 yards in the last 3 games, Stephen. It's looking ugly right now at Texas. I'm not saying it's time for Mack to go, but Mack Brown's in a situation where 2 years ago he made staff realignment, he hired a new offensive coordinator, he hired a new defensive coordinator, and now it just doesn't look much better.
But doesn't Mack Brown, doesn't he get a little bit of the Bobby Bowden treatment? Hasn't he earned the benefit of the doubt or the right to hang around, and more so than maybe some other coaches?
I think there are 2 sides to that story, Stephen. One side is, yeah, he does. Look at what he's done there. Look at all the games he's won. The other side is, and these are the crazy Orange Blood fans, he's won 2 Big 12 titles in his time there at Texas. And to them, that's just not enough.
You know, baseball is great, but sometimes I think America's favorite pastime is actually taking pot shots at the University of Miami. And Al Golden says, look, I'm having trouble building a team. This is not an environment in which you should expect immediate success. It almost feels like he's kind of making excuses.
Stephen, who would have thought the big bad Hurricanes, the gold standard of college football not so long ago, and the coach at Miami is complaining about fans and media speaking ill will of his team. That's what it's come to at Miami right now. It's not so much about how people are throwing barbs at you. It's called recruiting. It's recruiting, getting players, and winning games. And right now, that's Miami's problem more than anything.
All right. Well, he's Matt Hayes, Sporting News college football writer. I'm Stephen Levine, and this has been Allstate's First and 10. Thanks a lot for watching.